For more Magic the Gathering resources, check out my friends at paperchampion.net and Kitchen Table MTG.
Hey, this is Tao at The Forge, and this is my second last group of cards that I'm going to be choosing, the artifacts and colorless cards. Now, for the most part, except for one card, they're all artifacts, and what I wanted to do is have 40 of them, so that they are a pretty substantial part of the cube. I'm not sure how I feel about them necessarily. I think that we're going to have to playtest them, and some of them might be OP. You can see I have some Kaladesh vehicles in here. I think there's actually 10 of them that I've chosen. I'm not sure how they're going to do. They just might be too powerful. I might have to swap them out for something else. But we'll see how it goes. Or else I might have to put just more artifact destruction and artifact removal in the deck if I want to keep these. But that'll come out in testing, I suppose. So let's get started here. So we have Daredevil Dragster. Okay. Basically, this one's not that powerful because it disappears over a certain amount of time. Bomat Bazaar Barge just gives you, a pretty big body, but allows you to draw a card. Okay. Renegade Freighter. Now, this one, whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1, gains Trample. Okay. Ballista Charger. Attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, so that's pretty good, but it's a 6/6. Aradara Express is a beast. Menace at 8/6 with crew 4. That's actually pretty good, especially because there's a lot of like token generation. So you could just crew this with tokens and then swing with it. So I don't know, it might be too big. Sky Skiff, so flying 2/3 with crew 1. Consulate Dreadnought 7/11 crew 6. Okay. Oval Chase Dragster with Trample Haste, crew 1, but it's a 6/1. So it's kind of got like a small butt on it, so it's easy to take out, but still 6 damage and Trample, crew 1 is, I don't know, pretty good. Alright. Demolition Stomper. Okay, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Untethered Express. This one actually is pretty good, like a 4/4 for 4 with Trample. This is, and then whenever Untethered Express attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it's crew 1. This one might be the most deadly one because it can just grow really fast, and it's immediately a 4/4. So I don't know, that could be a really tough one. Okay, so now I'm into the artifact creatures. Clockwork Vorak, okay, with Trample, and basically it ticks down, but you can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on it. And so Perilous Mirror, basically it's a 1/1 for 2, but when it goes to the graveyard, it does 2 damage to a creature or player. Pierce Strider. Okay, so target opponent loses 3 life. That's, pretty good. Clone Shell. I really like this card. So it's a little bit of a toss-up when you draw it. So basically what it has is imprint. So when Clone Shell enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So basically this is kind of like there's some lands that do this with the hideaway ability. So you basically put a card face down under it, and when the Clone Shell is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, turn the exiled card face up. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield under your control. So you can use this to sneak like an enormous creature in, or you could just bluff people. Say like, okay, well if you want to kill it, I don't know what's underneath here. So people would be reluctant to do any damage to this because it is only a 2/2, but it could also be like something huge underneath there. All right, Peace Strider. So when Peace Strider enters the battlefield, gain 3 life. Bottle Gnomes is always great. You can sack it for 3 life. Now Ulamog's Crusher might be the most powerful creature in the deck. So the Crusher has Annihilator 2. It's an 8/8 for 8. And it has to attack each turn if possible. So it's a really great card. I have it in one of my Pauper decks, and I really, really like it. So I decided to include it here, even though it's not an artifact. Okay, so another artifact is Juggernaut, so it has Improvise, and attacks each combat if possible. So it's a 7/5 for 7. Darksteel Sentinel is just a flash, vigilance, indestructible for 3/3 for 6. Okay, Snare Thopter, 3/2 for 4 with flying and haste. I tried to get good artifact creatures because a lot of times they just really suck. I'll be frank, a lot of the artifact creatures are just awful. So this one is Iron League Steed, haste, fabricate 1. Okay. Workshop Assistant. You can return another target artifact from your graveyard to your hand, and that can be just ridiculous, right? So if they blow up one of your artifacts, you know, you can finally get rid of it or whatever, and then you can just bring it right back with this guy. It's pretty good. Guardians of Meletis, I'm not sure how I feel about it. You know, it's a great blocker, 0/6 for 3 with Defender, so it might be good to have. Chief of the Foundry, so other artifact creatures get +1/+1, so Artifact Lord is, you know, pretty good. Relic of Progenitus is the only real graveyard destruction I have in the whole cube. I felt like I kind of had to put it in there because there is a lot of graveyard recursion, and so I think this would actually be a pretty decent pick for some players. Alright, Wildfield Scarecrow is another one I was kind of iffy with, but basically it's a 1/4 for 3, which is okay, and then later on you can kind of sack it, you block and then sack it and get 2 lands out of it, so it's not too bad. Mirror Enforcer I like just because it's a 4/4, but it has affinity for artifacts, so you can often perhaps even cast this for free, right, or at least at a significant discount. Beam Gargoyle is a nice one. It's a 2/2 with Defender for 1, which is already great, but then later on in the game you can transform it, okay, and it becomes a 4/2 with flying, right? So it kind of retains some of its value over time, which is nice. Okay, Galvanic Juggernaut, it attacks every turn if able, doesn't untap during your untap step, but whenever another creature dies, untap Galvanic Juggernaut. And basically Galvanic Juggernaut is going to like untap a lot because in 4-player you're having creatures just die all the time. So it's unlikely that it's just gonna, like, you know, just sit there and not untap. Alright, so Crackdown Construct, basically this could go infinite, but we don't have the lands, or I'm probably not going to include the lands in there, or the cards that would make this go infinite, but I still think there's a lot of activated abilities that could make this you know, powerful in the deck. Okay, again, a good card that you'd have to like try and build to include. Cryptolith Fragment I really like. I like the idea of it, you know, so you're tapping, and whenever you tap for mana, every player loses 1 life, and then if everybody has 10 or less, you flip it, and it becomes Aura of Emrakul, 1/4 flying, death touch, and whenever it attacks, every opponent loses 3 life. So that's actually, you know, I really like the card. It's not really that like playable in one-on-one matches, but it's, you know, but it's a good one. Loxodon Warhammer is, you know, just a great. It's a +3/+0, has trample and lifelink, 3 and equip 3 equipment. So we're into the equipment now. Now I know this one looks like it's a rare, but actually Loxodon Warhammer has appeared as an uncommon, and so that's why I'm including it. Okay, Banshees Blade. Now this one again is kind of a killer. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter, and whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, put a charge counter on this card. So, like, you can put this on a flyer, attack one of the unprotected players, put a charge counter, and this would just grow and grow and grow. So this card might be like kind of OP in the deck. We'll see how it goes. Okay, Dead Iron Sledge. Whenever a equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature and the equipped creature. So you can put it again on one of your tokens, you know, and basically use it to block someone's like huge creature, and as soon as it blocks it, then you destroy your token and their huge creature. So again, this could be like just a devastating card to wield. Heartpiercer Bow is just okay. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, Heartpiercer Bow deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. That could be just a good way to take out some tokens. Cloak and Dagger. I like this because there's a kind of a sub-theme of rogues in the deck and the cube. I didn't actually like put that in there on purpose, but it just happened to work out that way. So equipped creature gets +2/+0, has Shroud, and then when a rogue comes into play, you may attach Cloak and Dagger to it. Okay, same thing with Veteran's Armaments. So whenever this creature attacks or blocks, it gets +1/+1 for each attacking creature, which is actually pretty good. Whenever a soldier creature comes into the play, you may attach Veteran's Armaments to it. Okay, so Slab Hammer. When a equipped creature attacks, you may return a land you control. The reason why I like this is because there's kind of a couple cards that rely on landfall triggers, especially like the retreats and stuff like this, and this would late game, or at any part in the game really, allow you to repeatedly drop lands onto the battlefield, and basically allow you to get those landfall triggers over and over again. Okay, Terrarion I think is just a good card. So it's a 1 mana artifact, and it can enter the battlefield tap, but then later on you can pay 2 colorless, use it to fix your mana, because you can get mana of any color, and then sack it and draw a card. So, I mean, that's really great. The other thing is that there's some cards that like talk about artifacts going into the graveyard, and so this is kind of like a sack outlet for an artifact. Okay, and the last one is Tooth of Chiscoria. Affinity for artifacts, so you can cast it for free. It can be played anytime you can play an instant, which is basically flash. And then you can tap it, and a target creature, like any target creature, gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So what that means is like you could just flash this in and basically give yourself a repeated 1/1, +1/+0, which is just value town all around. Anyways, those are my picks for artifacts and artifact creatures. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, you know, I'm always listening, and you know, I always want to try and improve the cube. So anyways, let me know what your ideas are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.